The one thing that God wants from you. Luke 10:38-42. Now as they went on their way, Jesus entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. But Martha was distracted with much serving. And she went up to him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to help me. But the Lord answered Martha, 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 you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. One thing. These are the words of Jesus, bro. But one thing is necessary. Martha has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her. One thing is foundational, one thing is the beginning, one thing is necessary. Only one. And what is Jesus saying here? To put it into plain terms, he's saying, hang out with me. Right? Like Martha was sitting, no, not Martha, Mary. Mix up the names. Mary was just sitting at his feet hanging out. Mary was just kicking it with him, right? Listening to his words, listening to his teaching, but just being with him, hanging out with him, kicking it with him, right? And I think that oftentimes we confuse what God wants for us, what he wants us to do for him, right? What he wants from us. And we think that we have a whole list of expectations from the Lord, but the one thing is just to kick it. It's just to hang out with him. It's just to be with him, ask him questions, talk to him, do things with him, not just for him, right? Because that's how you build a relationship. When we talk about Christianity not being religion, but a relationship, that's all that matters, is an intimate relationship. Another verse, John 15:5, we can read it too. When Jesus says, abide in me, bang, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. Abide in me, again, taking that out of jargon to words that we can understand. He's saying, hang out with me, do life with me, be with me in everything that you do. Abiding is hanging out. When we're working, doing it with Jesus, being with him, taking it as an opportunity to hang out with him. Whether we're somewhere like this, whether we're on a job, whether we're at school, whether we're driving, whatever we do, doing it with Jesus. For me, that was like the turning point in my relationship, or like kind of my first love with Jesus was just the revelation that I could just be with him in everything that I did while I was driving. That was one of my first places of really prayer, was just driving to work, during the summer, driving to school, worshiping, but really just talking to him, just chopping it up. I always used to talk to myself, so I was like, wait, I can just talk to God, So just chopping it up with him like a friend, right? These are not the words of me. These are not the words of a pastor, of a preacher. These are the words of Jesus. He's saying the one thing is to hang out with him, is to be with him. So that's what he wants. That's what he expects from you. That's the key to relationship. And it breaks us out of that religious box, that God wants me to work. He wants me to spend all these hours. He's tracking how many chapters I'm reading. He's not like that. There's one quote from a sermon that I've been sticking to recently, and it's paraphrasing, but it's that we're so activity oriented that we think that we were saved with a task to perform instead of a relationship to enjoy.